morning, everyone. Welcome to another Maker Mornings with Meg episode. I have my blue on today because we are making a bright and beautiful balloon suite card with the beautiful balloons stamp set, the coordinating bright and beautiful designer series paper, the dies, and where are they? My super fabulous iridescent shaker. Let's see. I know that they're in here somewhere. They are absolutely beautiful. Here they are. I was going to need those anyway. Can you see those? They're so pretty. And they have been a really popular item already in the catalog. So make sure you take a look at those. As always, link is in the video description if there are supplies that you need. So let's get going and learn how to make a shaker card with this fun, super easy tip that makes the most of stuff that you might have been throwing away. So hopefully not. But if you have been, you're never going to again. After today's video, you're going to be so excited about this. So let's get stamping here. All right. So we have our card supplies. This is the coordinating designer series paper for this suite. Beautiful colors, lots of great patterns. And of course, that gives us many options for working with on our cards here. So I've got a sheet of blueberry bushel here that's going to be our card base. And let's take a look at kind of where we're going to put some things on here. So I have a piece, this is from the designer series paper, of this yellow star paper. And we're going to go ahead and pop this here on the side. And this is going to be where our shaker box is. So we're going to do some stamping first. And then we're going to talk about how to balance out the shaker so that it doesn't just look like we've ignored part of our card. And then we're going to talk about how to do the cover-up routine inside to have it be just nice and pretty. So we're going to use this piece right here. And I have someplace my background paper. Sorry about the noise. Here we go. I really have no idea what happened to that. I need my paper here because we're going to stamp along the edges of our card. And for that, we're going to add some extra color with some of the balloons from our stamp set. So I have the medium balloon, the small balloon, and the balloon string, which are all key parts of this. And the colors I'm going to use are new colors, Lemon Lime Twist and Azure Afternoon. These are both from the Brights collection, and they're both part of the new color collection. So you can get them if you're getting the new core color ink pads. They are a great way to get all 11 of the new core colors if you need to update your palette and have some new colors there. And I will let my poor neglected puppy outside. So, all right. So let's get stamping here. I'm going to I'm going to do some collage stamping. I always like to start with the largest image first for something like this. So I'm going to start with a larger balloon, and I'm going to stamp in Azure Afternoon, and I'm going to just give us a selection kind of balloons here. A lot of this is going to get cut away, and I don't want to overdo it, so I'm going to stop there. When you think you need maybe one more, that's when you should stop and not add the one more. Usually my experience is that the one more is, that was too much. So quit while you're ahead. All right. This one I think is going to get covered up mostly, so I'll pop some. And I'm at that stage, so I'm not going to stamp one more. And I'm going to come back here with our balloon strings. And you know what? I inked that with Azure Afternoon, but I'm not going to use Azure Afternoon. I'll clean that off real quick. This thing is like my ink magnet, super fab. Instead, I'm going to use the Lemon Lime Twist and give these balloons sort of some subtle strings. And you'll see why when we get to the rest of our shaker box here. Okay, that is going to disappear, so it doesn't matter that I missed. Maybe I'll put like one little string end there just so that it looks like it's cut out of a larger piece of paper. Okay. So now this is going to fit here on the front of our card like so. And I'm going to go ahead and I am going to attach this because I want to then go ahead and do our cut from the front. And I'm going to attach it pretty well, so with quite a bit of adhesive for me at least, because now I am going to take that piece and I'm going to cut it out, and I don't want our edges to come apart. So we're gonna cut this with our die cut machine. So this is the triple balloon here. And I have my die cut machine here ready to go. So best if it doesn't have stamps under it. And I just dropped my balloon die. I'm gonna pop this on here and kind of centered in there. Honestly, it's not that big a deal exactly where it goes, so I'm not gonna bother to washi tape it. Might be a mistake, we'll find out shortly. And I'm gonna run this through, so. All right, I'm gonna run it back just to make sure we've got it cut well. And through the magic of die cutting, we have our element here ready to pop out. So I can save this for something else or whatnot. And then we have our piece here. Now, the next part we're gonna do is to kind of stamp through the hole. And so you don't want to attach layers before you're done with the stamping because there's some room for error in here. So with our shaker box, we have this piece of cardstock, which is cut to 3.5 by 3.5. Again, the whole written out directions, if you love a tutorial with a PDF, they are part of the Maker Mornings with Meg monthly tutorials for the month of May, which include, I need my lemon lolly ink pad, which are free when you place an order in my online store of any size during the month of May. You can also get them on Etsy, so you can jump over there and get those from my Loven Stamps Card Mart Etsy shop. Now, we want to stamp our large balloon here. You can either stamp through the hole, let's see, which I am going to bravely do right now. This is a very light color, so you don't have to worry too much about missing. And then, or you can kind of take the more, the less dangerous route, and you can use this as a guide. So I can use try not to get that in my ink pad, use this as my guide. I like to get really close and then pull it away and then go ahead and stamp under it like that. And for the final one, my balloon is smaller than the hole that we've die cut. So there's some slush room. So I'm gonna take this one here with Lemon Lime Twist and just stamp right there in the center of that hole, okay? All right, so now we have the back of our shaker card. Now you might be a little panicky because usually you put shaker card boxes on top of a card. We are not doing that. I actually like this one because it's flat on the front. It doesn't have that weird pop-up box. We're gonna conceal that pop-up box on the inside of our card, so a little different. All right, so now we need to add our greeting to this. I have my happy birthday, which is going to be Azure Afternoon over the lemon lolly, which is a great combination there. And we are going to work on making our shaker box to go with our card. So let's get some ink pads out of the way. These will come back when we do the inside of our card. But let's get those out of the way for now because we are going to go ahead and make our shaker. Now this is the part where you might have been throwing away the edge pieces of your Stampin' Dimensionals. I hope not, because that's sad, but if you have been, it's okay. You can redeem yourself now. So you need a length of this. It doesn't really matter how long it is, because you can always fix it or trim it later. But I'm gonna go ahead and cut at the corners. I guess I didn't need to peel that all at once here, and this one too. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I know that our dies here are gonna be about like this, and I want our shaker box to be relatively similar in shape. I don't want it to be giant because if it's too big, then you lose so much of the shaker material, these fun iridescent shaker circles. You lose them in the bottom of the card. So I want a custom shape, and I am going to make that ourselves using our edge strip of the dimensionals. There are dimensional strips in the catalog, and they are wonderful too. But I kind of like this because it's a little bit lighter. And so it is a little bit easier. Okay, I can't go across the edge, so I'm gonna have to cut that there, and I'll tell you why in a second. They're a little bit easier to turn. And if you put the straight edge towards the shaker part of your card, then you won't have to worry about you won't have to, you'll find that it's just easier to turn, sort of kind of like bias strip, bias tape. So we're gonna make it easier. So it's already like cut at the edge, like trimming your seams, and I'm gonna just tuck that inside there. You don't wanna leave any gaps. And so I'm just gonna let that flex there at those edges and finish up our box. I know if you're like, what? I never thought of that. Yeah, this is just, it was handy, and it just seemed like a great way to have an easily flexing strip here to go on our card. So I just need one little bit there left. I'm gonna take this piece and then I'll trim it as needed. I'm gonna pop it kind of inside. A lot of times I like to overlap edges. You can kind of see how I overlap that one there, just to make sure no little shakers get loose in our card. The other thing you want to do is you have to make sure that no dimensionals go over the back of your paper. So I'm gonna, actually, I guess it doesn't matter because we're gonna cover it up. Okay, it doesn't matter so much. All right, but it'll be neater if you get it in there. So now we have a custom shaped dimensional layer that gives us some dimension to put in our shakers. So I'm gonna go ahead and open these up. I'm gonna peel off all of the backing paper and pop this here on our, okay, it takes longer to pull that all off. There you go. All right, so now we have our sticky exposed, and I'm going to add some shakers. Now the smart money here would be to take a little spoon so you don't get them all over yourself. Ooh, wait, I have a tool that will maybe work well. We'll see. This is what happens when you don't try stuff ahead of time. So there's a spatula tip on the end of the take your pick tool. So I'm gonna dip this around and pop a bunch of circles. All right, so what I'm trying to avoid doing is getting the shaker circles on top of our adhesive, because that is going to make a mess of the attachment point. So you don't want to have your circles on top of the adhesive, because then you'll create like a leaking point. And this is like the Mary Poppins container of shaker circles here. It holds a lot, so I just keep putting more in there. All right, and you can see that they're a little bit staticky to my tool, so I'm kind of glad that I'm not staticky-ing them to my hand. I'm gonna switch this back around here and use the pointy tool to get them off the adhesive here. All right, what do you guys think? This is kind of, a shaker card is a little investment and effort, but they are so fun. And great for a great occasion. You just really, at this point, want to avoid upsetting your shaker card, which I almost did. I don't know if you guys saw that all leap. Don't let it leap. All right, one more there. Come on, get out. There we go, close enough. All right, now what are we gonna put over this to make our shaker box finish? We have choices. These are the Gold Celebrations specialty paper. They're window sheets printed with decor on them. So there's these fun, they come 12 by 12. There's this fun one here. There's one with gold dots. And then there's this one where the confetti kind of, it's loose at one point and then it gets a little bit more gathered, denser at the bottom. So I think I'm gonna try this one. And then remember, you can use the silver side if you like. So silver up, or you can use the gold side up. So this is cut just a little bit bigger than our shaker box, and I'm gonna lay it down on top here and squish that down along the edges. And there is, okay, we got a good amount of shaker stuff in there. So the shaker material is fun. Okay, maybe I went a little overboard, but it is awfully fun. Okay, it's hard to see in the video though. Pretty fun, right? Okay, so how is this go on our card, Meg? I'm glad you asked. All right, so this is going to layer inside like so. And I find the best way to do that is to just make sure it fits. You might need to trim at the top. Actually, this one is pretty close. I think it's gonna need a little trim on the side here. So I'm gonna go ahead and just trim. It's going to be hidden, so it doesn't matter so much. Actually, better trim it at the top too. It doesn't matter so much if you're cutting it super straight. You can put it in your trimmer. All right, we want to leave the edge around because we are going to cover this up, not there, but on the top. And so I'm going to make sure that that layer fits. and that this fits inside. So get this set where you want it, okay? Hold it in place. Take your multi-purpose liquid glue or tear tape or Seal Plus and go around the edge of your shaker box. Just don't get any glue inside your shaker box because this is going to hold our layers together. And I already know that it's placed in the right place, so I can go ahead and close our card shut on this. And now we have a hidden underlay. It's like undermount sinks, right? We have the hidden underlay of our shaker elements. So I've got my iridescent shaker circles enclosed again. I feel it's like embossing powder and a heat tool. Just this like a disaster waiting to happen, right? Okay, so I think that's probably pretty well attached, and now I can open this up and see it on the inside. This is the part where we're gonna create our cover up. I'm going to pop this whole layer on the inside that just is going to hide the guts of our card. And so to do that, I'm gonna come back with the, oops, not there. I'm gonna come back with my Stampin' Dimensionals and place them out here where I don't need that many. It's gonna be supported, and then I'm gonna go ahead and put some glue on the back of this part here so that that will go ahead and stick down flat to our shaker box. And then we can layer our layer inside our card and have that be nicely hidden there, just a much prettier way to hide our shaker box, okay? So we still have to decorate the front of this, and we have to decorate the inside of this. So let me zoom back out a little bit. That would be in. And okay, we have some pieces here ready to go. Oh, see, the shakers they're not coming out of the card, but they did have a tendency to jump around, and you can see kind of how fun that is now on the front of our card. So let's balance this out. I don't want this to be a blank space. I've got another piece of designer series paper here. I'm going to go ahead and glue this little rectangle here on the side so that it matches our same margin around the edge. And then I want to kind of mask this part right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and use a strip of the soft shimmer designer specialty paper, which is that glimmer paper that comes in those 5 colors. I think I showed it to you guys last week. Oh no, a couple weeks ago. Here, I've got it handy again. It's so pretty, and it's a great fit for the Bright and Beautiful suite. So here are those choices. So I've got the sort of navy one here for our card. And then I thought that we could use a couple of the stars. So the star dies are also included in this set, and a great set of accessory items. So I've got a couple of stars here for our card. And let's go ahead and finish these up. We wanna kind of balance, oh, the strings, I forgot the strings. Okay. We're gonna balance this with our balloon. So I'm gonna hold off 1 second so that I can do our stamping, and I'm gonna show you what to do when you forget to stamp something that's on a layer that needs to be hidden. So I've got our little string cleaned here, and I'm gonna take, I'll take this, it's just a piece of scrap paper now, and I'm gonna pop this down at the bottom so that I don't accidentally go onto our layer. And then now I'm gonna give this, we want our shaker balloons to have the benefit of fabulous strings here. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop these on there to go on the front of our card. Okay, you see how that just looks a little like perfectly extra finish to go along with our shaker card. So the shaker is clearly the big star, get what I did there, of our card, but we're gonna have some extra little elements here too. That are going to sort of make sure that we're paying attention to this happy birthday. Remember, your embellishments help to create your focal point. They're not just randomly, sporadically tossed on there. So speaking of embellishments, let's grab some in-colored dots, and I'm gonna use the blues again. And hey, we've got our take your pick tool, so why not use it? I'm gonna pop the big one on here. We're kind of going for here as our focal point. And then the second one, I'm gonna go ahead and pop down here. And the third one up here, towards the happy birthday words, I think. There we go. All right, so there we have the front of our card. Now the inside needs some fun too, and I've got a really cool tip for you with this stamp. So this Let's Get Our Celebration On is sized to fit over this balloon here. But that doesn't mean you have to only use it there. So let's go ahead and grab that stamp and talk about mounting it. Now, if you needed it to fit over that large balloon perfectly, then you would want to, let's go ahead and get this one put away. I love that lemon lolly color. Gosh, I don't know about you guys, but I am adoring the new core colors and the way they come together. Okay, so if you want this to match the way it's patterned in the stamp set, you always want to mount your stamps by letting the stamp sit in its native shape, just like, you know, make sure it's not stuck to the table, let it take its native conformation, and then press your block down on to pick it up, all right? But do not feel limited by that, because with photopolymer stamps, you can always stretch them to fit whatever other kind of shape you want. You just want to make sure they're stuck down really well. Sometimes they like to go back to their native shape, but they are great to use. And I'm going to open this up and make it a broader sentiment. When you have a big space, make sure you're not inking the bottom of your block like this. It's a danger of a smaller stamp and a bigger block. So now we have our Let's Get Our Celebration On. I am going to clean this and put it back in its case. I don't want to stretch it out of shape because I want it to be the right shape to match. So I'm going to take that off and let it relax a bit there. So in its relaxed state, I'm going to drop it back in the case. Okay, so make the most, or take care of your stamps that way. They like to be relaxed. We all like to relax, right? And then finally, I'm going to pull back in some of the other images we used on the front of our card. I have our colors here, the same colors from the front of our card. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp our little balloon in Lemon Lime Twist. And then I'm going to clean this off and use my lemon lolly. And if you're like, oh my gosh, that's blue, you're going to put it in the ink pad. The Stampin' Chamois is an outstanding ink magnet. You can always double check, but I'm pretty confident that it's nicely clean, so I'm not gonna get blue into my beautiful yellow pad. And then pop that string on down at the bottom. And then last step is to attach. Remember my relatively recent trick, make a holding point where you're gonna put your finger so you can safely grab this layer without getting glue on yourself. And then it makes it so much easier to put layers into cards without having glue all over the place. And it's not gonna matter. It's gonna stick no matter what. It's a really, really outstanding glue. All right, so there is our fantastic, fabulous, we'll get some extra papers out of the way, shaker card using the Iridescent Shaker Circles and the beautiful balloons stamp set. So lots of enjoyment from this card for sure. And it has a flat front, so the shaker is hidden inside the guts of the card where it is not going to be like, wait, what's that bump on the front? So I don't know about you guys, if that, maybe that didn't bother you, maybe it wasn't a big deal, but that makes me really happy to have that hidden in there. So yay. All right, so let's switch this back here. That is our project for today. Hope you are enjoying Maker Mornings with Meg. And never fear, I will be back again next time for another episode. We are Tuesdays and Thursdays at 9:30 a.m. Central Time. And I am always happy to see you guys and see comments and see what you guys thought and hear where you're stamping from and so forth. So have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time on Maker Mornings with Meg. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.